Hello, hello, and welcome back to Nature's Galaxy. I'm your host and talkative friend Luna. Thank you so much for stopping by and trusting me with your cards, all that jazz. Not everything I say will resonate with you, but based off of faith, we will go from here. I have all of the cards already lined up in front of me. Hope you don't mind missing the shuffling bit. I know that's one reason why a lot of people like to tune into tarot as well, because they like just seeing how it falls and so on and so forth. Leo, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to be using your readings a little bit more of like maybe a backdrop. I don't know if that's like the right term to use, but I notice when I channel Leo energy, it activates parts of my fifth house. So that creativity, how you handle kids, some of you love children, you love being around them. All of you together just feed off of one another. You're out in the sun. You want to think of new things for life to just keep turning. Completely understand. But for me, when I'm doing a reading, it has more to do with just the creativity of it all. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So, Leo, your reading this time around has a lot to do with romantic relationships. And if that's not really like your thing right now, we do still have the healing of intimate relationships at hand in front of me. So, already, if this is not resonating with you, you can click off, log off of this channel. It's all good. Maybe I will get to you in the future. Until then, hope you have a good one. But for the rest of us, where you love my channel, you like listening in, you like tuning in, welcome. First card out when it comes down to how they may potentially feel about you. It's more than love as well here, but they feel you leaving them behind with this card here. You keep moving on. Right now, with Pluto having different oppositions with your sign, how it may highlight your eighth house or your sixth house. So, intimacy, depth, inheritance compared to health, wellness, sustainability, and or the self, or you in relationships as well. So however that really falls for you, there is something about your intentions, there is something about your motivations, your motives at this time, that Uranus, the planet of change, is highlighting within you. It's moving out of Taurus soon. It's moving out of a fixed sign, and you want to have these celebrations. But at the same time, there is a huge push for you to almost snap out of it when it comes down to some versions of romantic connections or the conversations around romantic connections. You're challenged to know so much more about yourself as Pluto in Aquarius is riding on through the galaxy, riding on through the storm of Aquarius, the intellectual storm, the innovation of ideas, just a whirlwind of everything in between. So over here in the corner, we have this Cancer energy. Underneath it, it says red flag. So as the planets shift, as the planets move, the red flags come through with some versions of sensual and or sexual wisdom that needs to be implemented. For some of you, if you have kids, children, teenagers, however, they fall into the category of that, it looks like whether their puberty is here or there's something concerning them growing up it does feel like now the conversation starts. This blooming conversation of who they are as people. And for some of you, I think there is this inner childhood healing for some of you where you get to start over. Right here in front of the sexual healing card, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So, again, starting over in value, starting over in worth, starting over in how this has connected you to your creativity, your divine feminine. For some of you, it's been a long time coming, whether through drains, whether just not having the information, or whether you just not knowing in general. You're just like, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no clue. The alchemy of life, the alchemy of divine union, the visions that you've held within your heart not only are being challenged, but I think for some of you, you just have to stand on the divine nature of what brought you into this life. You have to stand up to those challenges now. If you're the standard, stand up. If you have to build towards your standard, it's the same thing. Get up. We have the Aries card here. You could be dealing with Aries. There could have been an Aries lover in the past. With this Aries lover, and or potentially just other friendships as well. For some of you, you are attracting Aries placements into your life. You know, somebody who can keep up with your fire, or maybe there's new understandings between you and Aries placements where that you believed, oh my goodness, there's like, okay, I thought it was like a whole bunch of birds outside of like my window, but no. Ha 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 ha. It's a leaf blower. But if you have been following me since my podcast back in the day, you know during the summertime, that thing goes off all the time. People are obsessed with their lawns around here. Okay. I think it's also because like people have been like moving in and out of the neighborhood. A lot of people are trying to do their own innovations as well, long time coming. But now it's just, I will say this year is a little bit different, even though it's just started. But for sure, when just sitting in my room, I don't hear it nearly as often because I think so many people are just, they're now on their own schedule instead of being disrupted. It was to the point, I think some of you were there. I don't know if it was the Leos, but you could have like other placements where I kid you not, I kid you not, it was like well past 7, 8 p.m. and somebody was doing their lawn. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You gotta be insane. You're drunk. There's something going on with you mentally. Why are you up? Why are you not only up but mowing your lawn at night? This doesn't make sense. And then I also now have a microphone. Makes it so much better in cases like this. But, you know, thank you also for, staying with me for some of you through this process. I'm finding, I don't know if it's called a niche, if it's like trying to find the flow of something, especially when it comes down to structure. I don't know. I have no clue. But back to the reading. Saturn is in Aries, and it is bringing true justice to the divine feminine right now. For some of you, if this pushes you back a bit in terms of, oh dang, I haven't been the best to XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. Saturn is going to be challenging your vision of what divine union actually looks like. There's so many things that are being brought to the surface, that are being brought to the divine morality of it all. For the next 3 to 4 years, I am predicting from the Saturn energy, a lot of the divine feminine energy and nature is going to climb up the ladder again. Okay, so if you are masculine and you do have a lot of feminines that are going to be gathering around you, there is a little bit of a warning here in terms of not only listening to the whole story or stories through, especially if you just work around a lot of women. There's something here where you do need to, ask another opinion. You need to ask somebody outside of you because there are some tricks here. There are some demands. There are some power grabs for the next whole while. For the next while. In the corner, again, we have the Cancer energy along with the red flag. For some of you, you could have different people around you be diagnosed with cancer. They could be, and maybe you've known these people in your community for a while, but they are reaching out in all different types of ways to garner some energy. So I wouldn't see it too much as a bad thing at this time. I don't know why I have to say it like that because obviously that's not a bad thing if somebody's like reaching out to you because they're sick. This, to a certain degree, like especially if like you've known of these people, but you were never like close. So I'm not really talking about any type of parasitic social dynamic here. It's more of something that has been naturally going on, but again, this will resonate with who it needs to resonate with. There are different examples of how community want to come together, but I do feel like the disease, the illness of cancer is kind of bringing certain people together. So this could be in family, this could be in community. And remember, even if you have these hard emotions, you are doing the right thing by, getting it off your chest. Okay? That's part of the healing here. For others of you, if this has anything to do more of an astrological thing where Jupiter is finishing up in Western astrology, moving into Leo, you are going to feel like the Fool. We have the Fool card twice here. Okay. There's something here in terms of speaking out loud and speaking for yourself. Another part of you are secretly holding this Uranus energy in celebration for you actually moving away from people. So, are you then kind of given this Aquarius loneliness to a certain degree? Yes, this is not always a bad thing. Um, so, I don't, of course, this is going to come with a little bit of a story, a short one, but I'm actually from California. Some of you may not have known this, but I'm from California. And one thing, but I was raised in the South, make no mistake, raised in the South, but I am from California. And the thing about California is that it's a very lonely state. It's very lonely. I think people know it's around, but unless they've really thought about it while being there, because you're just so busy, everything is so fast paced, it's a very lonely place. But the thing is, you're okay with your loneliness. Like at the end of the day, if you really feel like shit, you can go to the beach. You can get lost a bit. Don't recommend in this, day and age unless you're truly, truly and heavily protected. But because even if you know what you're doing, there's a lot of different things that are going on in the LA area and different parts of California that have been filled with corruption for a long time. But I think Mother Nature is just like, I want my water back. So to each their own with that message. But, that is what I truly believe from my heart and from like the soil of like where I'm from. But anyway, many loves, soulmate energy, Saturn moving into your 11th house is going to challenge how you stick with friendships, how you disconnect from friendships. But again, I just feel like there is a huge sense of trusting the universe, trusting this jovial newness, but also seeing where people are drained from their hope. So there are some setbacks with your success, but I think that's a natural balance. Some people are now bringing forth saying, we were never supposed to know this much about people, the community in general. I think it's an expression with that way of being on its way out. I do see that some people are going to be questioning your intentions, your motives, but maybe it's a time for fun maxing. Maybe it's a time for you to be happy minding your business in every shape, form, and fashion. And take this from an Aquarius rising. Okay. We have the alchemist energy here, magically transforming alchemist. Some of you are so far, especially if you have Aquarius placements, you are so far into your vision here. I think you need to keep doing what you're doing. Creatively speaking, and also feeling like you are being overworked here, there, and everywhere. Self forgiveness seems to be the name of the game. Nothing else just seems to really stick for you. You don't want it to, actually. You're at the age, or you've been at the age, where you're trying to catch the waves of life, this geometric wave of life that gives you all forms of love, purpose, and the fight, like the good fight to keep going. Because you know how they're trying to gentrify that too, where it's just like, we're gonna fight the good fight. Okay, get out of here. Bye. Gentrifying everything in this bitch. But you know, that's neither here nor there. Even though it actually is, but there's no war, bossing say. You know, it is what it is. Okay. Sharpening your skills at this time with Saturn in Aries. Saturn in Aries being your ninth house of foreign travel, learning. You know, get ahead of the game when it comes down to your paperwork. Say your passport doesn't expire for the next 2, 3 years. I think you should go ahead and really have all of your paperwork copy and pasted to 10 different places. I think if there's anything also concerning family with paperwork as well, I think there needs to be better organization. Or if you have that better organization, you need copies. There's something here where you need copies of something. It needs to be plural. Don't have a singular this, that, or the other. Now, of course, take that with a grain of salt. I'm not necessarily saying, oh, you need to have like more than one. It's a good example. Social security card. I don't even think that's a thing. Maybe it is, but there's something here where if you do need to, for example, get like a social security card, make sure that you have your paperwork together, everything organized. There's going to be a lot of financial setbacks if you're not prepared. Like, it's going to cost you a lot. It's one thing if you didn't know everything on the test, it's another thing for you to uh, again, just a setback after setback after setback. Rebuilding things can get pretty annoying. And I think for Leos, if you're still entertaining people who just like keep taking from you, I mean, you're going to feel like you're going crazy. And they don't have to be bad people. That's also what I'm getting. But the thing is, your discipline, your unself-forgiving nature, and or your forgiving nature towards other people, it's setting you back. Like, now, do you want it or do you not want it? And I don't mean that in a harsh way for some of you, because I think some of you just haven't been taking those steps. But now you also see with Saturn in Aries, you haven't been taking the steps. What? What do you mean you haven't been taking the steps? They got to drag you back behind the curtain and be like, what do you mean you don't have this? What do you mean? So, new high standards, new high guidelines, policies, and everything else in between. When it comes down to community, create, show up, get together with certain people. For others of you in the past, where it wasn't so much like, for some of you, it was where it's just like, oh, it didn't work. I'm moving on. With Leo placements, when you do that, it takes away from your likeness. Because even though you can build a sense of credibility and sustainability here, there, X, Y, and or Z, you're now taking away certain parts of your reputational likeness. So, in one way, shape, form, or another, something has been building. You have reached certain milestones. Fantastic. Now, with Saturn in the ninth house, it wants you to expand off of that structure and then some. Excellent. But again, there is this sentiment of show up, keep showing up. And it's not to say like you have to consistently annoy these people. I don't think you're that type of personality anyway. Maybe if you have a little bit of Cancer in you, okay, it is what it is. But it's not so much like heed this warning, but keep making these steps and keep flowing. There's something really important here about vision. Of course, leaving people behind, but also finding the gems in this divine union that's coming your way. Really sit with the vision of the soulmates that you want in your life. Sit with the visions of the alchemy that you want to really push forth in. I don't know about you, because I don't really know everybody that's watching, but ever since I was a little girl, of course, I wanted to be very Aquarius of me, Aquarius rising of me. I'm just like, I always wanted to be a scientist. But, having dyslexia, people like to poke fun in that confidence. But ever since graduating, it's kind of like, I take morning seriously. I like taking morning seriously. So it's taken me a minute to just kind of like purge certain levels of people not believing and poking fun in my confidence, which is, I think human nature, which helps me also like just get over it. The best thing in the world that's been happening to me right now recently is getting over myself. So nice. So nice. Because sometimes it's part of the story for you to just like keep holding on to things, right? We've all been there. But the idea of just like to get over yourself, it's like, this is nice. This is nice. Let me get out of my own way. Oh, this is even better. Ace of Pentacles. Oh, yes. That would be nice. I'm going to take that value now that I have gotten out of my own way. But for some of you, this has been going on for far too long in terms of not seeing your truest value and truest worth in terms of your sexual wisdom. Again, that's not for all of you, but it is important to say since the Ace of Pentacles is on top of the card. Some of you who have had multiple lovers, I think now you are growing tired. You're growing tired of the bullshit, and it's time for you to get off this stupid ride that you didn't like anyway. Or, the performance isn't there anymore. The fire isn't there anymore. And maybe, nah, that deals with the past. Who cares? So, sorry, I had to do that Aquarius thing and be like, yeah, no, who cares? Does that make a lot of people mad? I don't know. Maybe I have no clue. Maybe it's the ease I say it. It's like I'm still listening to myself where it's just like, do I give a little bit of a no? Okay. All right. That's fine. That's cool. It's, not like other people are going to feel upset about it or anything, but it's cool. It's, it's all right. It's whatever. I heard a loud bang in the back. Anyway, it's probably nothing. With this divine union that my eyes still keep going back to in vision, it's almost giving like cherry picking if you're single. I like this about this timeline. I'm healing this about that timeline. And, some things are also going to have this intertwined nature here and there. But the Alchemist card is here, the Fool card is here. There are clear and open roads for new entry for you emotionally, for you in terms of friendships, and especially for some of you with feminine friendships as well. There's a healing here. And for other people who have had conflicts who are women with you and you're also a feminine energy, there's something where they might actually get over themselves this year or the coming year. So you having some distance with them is not a bad thing at all. Trust your instincts on that one. And so, one of the positive mantras here, I always receive exactly what I ask for or better. And underneath that, the more wealth in my hands, the more good circulates in the universe. Again, that energy of show up, show up. Now, if you have a plan, don't go against that plan just because I said so. But if there was like something in you that's just like, let me pull back a little bit, the intentions for rest, or maybe a bigger and better plan for something new, something more extravagant, something more on your level, full of alignment. Let it grow bigger. In terms of this creation, in terms of this passion, in terms of your intelligence, in terms of shedding off some of the dead weight, some of the water weight. Good riddance. Get out of here. It's a son of a bitch. Get out. It's also funny because there are some people out there who are just like, oh, but this person's a stick. Motherfucker, they train all day, every day. I would not fight them. Yes, they look like a stick. That's nothing but pure muscle and bone. Stop. And I'm not talking about like the anorexic kind, male and or female, or intersex, either one, or any of them, I should say. And all right, Leo, I think I have reached the end of your message. Thank you so much for stopping by and trusting me with your cards. Okay, one last additional message. Keep writing. For some of you, I think that needs to be a reminder. Excuse me, fumbled over my words there. Keep writing. Your speech, your thoughts, your evolution and your writing and what you will be putting out there still needs to be put out there. All right, Leo. Whenever you're watching this, I hope you have a great morning, noon, evening, or night, and I will catch you guys next time.